Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. So in today's video, I will be recapping day one of the Washington Commanders OTAs, going over who was there, who wasn't, some of the big plays, and who played really well and who didn't. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well. Those three things help out a ton and it takes only a few seconds. And check out Mantis Sleep. Use code HTTC for 10% off. On vacation, so have a little bit of a different background, but it is what it is. So first day of voluntary OTAs for the Washington Commanders, and overall, the media wasn't there, so you really didn't get a lot of details, but there were some fans and stuff like that there, which is good. But this is what Keim said: first day of voluntary OTA workouts with the Commanders. All but 3 attended: Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and Charles Leno Jr. per source. It's voluntary, but you want your guys there, especially your team captains. Chase Young, Charles Leno are both team captains. They should be there. I understand it's voluntary, and I agree with what Tamik is saying here. He said, it's time for the NFL and the NFLPA to make these mandatory. This does nothing but make the players look bad through the eyes of the fans. It's unnecessary drama. Just make them be there. Like, they should be there. If you're a team captain, you should be there, setting a good example for your fellow teammates. For Montez Sweat, wish he was there. He should be there. But again, it's his choice. It's not mandatory. It is voluntary. So he's not there. And you know what? He's coming off a solid year. Not an amazing year, but a solid year. So whatever, it's fine. Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, I believe were there, and they got paid. So not necessarily, making themselves look the best for Ron Rivera in terms of getting a contract. But, if they ball out, they're going to get a contract. At least one of them will. But Chase Young is the one where I have more of an issue with it. Originally, when it happened after his first year, he had a great year. I was like, okay, you know what? Not a big deal. He had a great first year. And as long as he balls out, it's not a big deal. And and that was fine. But then he didn't ball out. He had the injury. And, this year I would have really, really liked him to, come out, because first off, he's coming off the injury. So yes, he played the last 3 games, but, looked a little bit rusty. He looked good at times, but still, you want to see him get as many reps as he can, especially with the new D-line coach, with Kerrigan out there. You want him to work under these coaches versus working with outside coaches. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily working. Like, that's what he did between year 1 and year 2, and it didn't look good to start off year 2. So it's voluntary. He has every right to not be there and not show up, but would have been nice to see him there, especially since he's a team captain. He's a guy that is coming off an injury, and you want, he's healthy, but he's still coming off an injury, and you want him to get as many reps as possible. And he's, hasn't produced really, besides the second half of his rookie year. So I know some people are going to be upset that I'm upset about him not being there. And it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. It's fine. As long as he's there for the mandatory stuff, which I'm assuming he's going to be there, then it's fine. But Ron Rivera is probably not happy that Chase isn't there. And I don't think the relationship is great, honestly. Montez, it is what it is. Again, he's produced every year he's been here. Has he been elite? No. But he's gotten 8-ish sacks every single season. I think this year will be a big year for him. Leno, not sure why he's not there. He's a veteran. Maybe it's a family thing. I don't know. The media wasn't there to ask the coaches and everything. So maybe some of these guys have some personal issues, and that's why they're not there. But that's kind of the attendance right there. And now moving on to on the field, shout out Jalen, his account Bleeding Burgundy and Gold. He's got YouTube, a bunch of different stuff, but he was there. I believe they had season ticket holders there, and he had a bunch of good, analysis and stuff and some videos. So I'm just going to play the videos while I talk. I believe this is the running back. Running backs doing some drills. So you see Gibson there. I think Jonathan Williams is up next. So again, good to see. Even though the media isn't there, we still are able to see some clips. And you got Jared Patterson running up there next. And yeah, got to see some clips. We got some Sam Howell highlights soon and some others as well. You got Christian Rodriguez here, which I didn't hear great things about. But yeah, he's pretty sloppy right there if you saw the end there. I've heard Eric Bieniemy's been, yelling at him a ton, but you see there, knocked down a couple. It didn't look good, but again, it's just a simple drill. It doesn't really matter. You got the tight ends here. Again, shout out Jalen for all this great work. He said Armani Rogers looked really good. I saw Logan Thomas caught a touchdown pass from Sam Howell, and Sam Howell looked pretty good today. From what I heard, I saw that I think he went 7 for 11 on passes, and a few of those were drops. So we're gonna get into that as well in a little bit. I think that that's Cole Turner right there, catching a pass. Not sure who 80 is. Might be Curtis Hodges, I think. Not completely sure, but you guys see that there. Armani Rogers is next, and then we will move on. You see him running a nice route there, looks quick and explosive, and makes the catch. And let's see, there's some other work, and I mean, okay, there's tight ends at work again. And Eric Bieniemy was making his presence felt. That's what I heard from, Jalen here, from Chris Bryant, from the Hog Farmers, and that is something great to hear, because Scott Turner was just not doing that. He was not doing that at all. So to see our new offensive coordinator do that is great. And real quick, a word from our sponsor. And huge shout out to Mantis Sleep for sponsoring this video. They make the best sleep masks in the world. They have a bunch of different types that can change temperatures, that can change the sound that you're listening to when you're going to bed and when you're waking up. I've been using it for the last month or so, and it's done wonders for my sleep. My sleep has improved drastically. I've been getting good quality sleep whenever I'm having a tough time sleeping. I just put the mask on and go to bed, and it's great. So check them out. Use code HTTC for 10% off. Okay, so we back, and you guys can see this is Ricky Stromberg and Chris Paul in there. Don't believe any of those two were in the first team unit, but it is what it is. And he talked about Armani Rogers looking good. And again, we got to take everything here with a grain of salt, because it is OTAs, the running back or receivers right there running some routes, and you got Eric Bieniemy looking over. It's kind of zoomed out, so you can't really see there. Here's a little bit better view. Not sure who that is. 83. Who is that? Not sure. I think that was 83. I couldn't even see the number, but Howell throwing some passes there, and I'm sure Jacoby Brissett is throwing some passes as well. You got him throwing right there to Jahan. Hey, Jahan, big year for him this year, hoping to get over 1,000 yards or around that range or around that mark. 1,000 would be really good for him. And let's see, that's kind of it. And then he said starting O-line for team period is Cornelius Lucas, Sadiq Charles, Nick Gates, Cosme, and Wiley. We'll be interested to see tomorrow what it is. Let's say Leno is still not there. Well, I want to see if Sadiq is really first team, or if they're just rotating Sadiq and Chris Paul, or even Ricky Stromberg. Some other takeaways from Jalen. He has another play right there. Howell throws to Terry, I believe that was, and you got number 12 in there as well. So yeah, throwing to Bieniemy. Who's number 12? I'm trying to think of who that is. Could it be? Okay, because I think Jacoby Brissett is I'm not sure. Yeah, not really sure, but and it looks like that's 4, not 14. Who knows? Let's see. He says Eric Bieniemy to Christian Rodriguez. Hey Christian, play faster. Wake your you-know-what up. Don't want to curse and get demonetized, but you guys can read it. He said Jamin Davis and John Ridgway working on the side field. And he said not sure I knew either of them were dealing with ailments. Well, Ridgway had a torn pec in the last game of the season. And Jamin Davis have no idea. Ridgway will probably be back in the next month or two. St. Juice and Fuller were starting in 7v7 with Quan Martin in the slot. So interesting to see that Forbes wasn't in there. That's to be expected though. But eventually you're going to want him in there. And then he said Terry McLaurin put quite the move on Emmanuel Forbes. And I'm excited to see when the media is there and we have a lot of eyes, what that really looks like in terms of Terry and Forbes, the matchup, or even Forbes and Jahan Dotson. They said Quan Martin started at nickel, and that's kind of it right there. That's kind of it. Let's see other things. Chris Bryant says the offense was slow getting out of the huddle. In team drills, Eric Bieniemy says hurry the F up. Come on. The next few plays, they were zooming out the huddle. Again, the offense lacked urgency and, speed coming out of the huddle last year. And they were pretty good when they were no huddle and they had like 2-3 minutes. They were good. And it just, Scott Turner never did it. which was crazy and annoying. So Howell looked, this is from Zach Selby, who works for the Commanders. He says, Howell looked in command of the offense in the huddle and during plays, but his accuracy stuck out on several occasions. He only had 4 incompletions combined in both 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills. Okay, never mind. I read that wrong. So he's not 7 for 11. One was out of bounds, targeting Brian Robinson, but the rest were drops. One of the more impressive passes was Terry McLaurin with Benjamin St. Juste bearing down on him. Another highlight was a sideline toss from John Bates, who made the snag right before Quan Martin could break up the play. Yeah, overall, looks like it was a good day for Sam Howell, which is good for the Commanders. We want to see, him continue to progress. So I'm excited to see what he looks like now in OTAs, then mini camp, then training camp, then the preseason, then the regular season. It is all about that progression. And yeah, if he continues to progress, the Commanders will be in a very, very good situation this season and will have much improved quarterback play over what they had last year. And they're paying him like $30 million less. Or I guess if you count the Jacoby Brissett contract, like 25-ish less, maybe 24. And yeah, it looks like John Bates had a nice catch as well. So overall, not a crazy day, but we kind of got the attendance out of the way with Chase, Montez, and Leno not being there, and some of the big plays. And also, yeah, excited for this to continue. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.